Hey there, Tim Squares here, and I thought I'd try something new. Sitting at the pool and sitting at the table, listening to the sounds of the pool and some birds, and maybe a few kids in the background playing basketball. And I wanted to talk to you for a minute about something, about a concept. It's a mindset concept, and it's called dependability. And I think the reason why I wanted to mention it is because it was brought up in a uh, one of our meetings the other night, and as a an attribute or a characteristic that's really important for people to have, especially in business. And the reason why dependability is so important is because if you're not dependable, then people don't trust you. They don't trust you for your judgment. They don't trust you for um, your opinion. They don't trust you for anything because you're not dependable. Let's say, for example, you're a type of person who you know that you promise somebody that you're going to be at a certain place at a certain time, and I see this all the time, um, and you don't show up, and if someone is expecting you, if your client or if your customer or even a friend doesn't know whether or not you're going to show up on time or even show up at all, what happens is that then if you have anything to say, your everything that you talk about becomes suspect in that they can't be trusted. Let's say, for example, you make an appointment with somebody. You're going to talk to them on the phone. You're going to talk to them and even in person, and that person sits there and waits and waits and waits for you. And then when you talk to them, when you finally show up, or if you ever talk to them at all, they're thinking in the back of their mind, well, they weren't dependable. I couldn't depend on them to show up on time, so why would I want to think that anything else is important that they have to say? So dependability is very, very important. I don't know why, but I had that kind of stuck in my head, especially showing up for places. And in fact, my wife and I, from the first time we ever got married, would always show up early for everything. Kind of got comical because you know how some people are. If you have a party or a get-together or a meeting and they set a time, it's almost like a lot of people expect people to be late. You know what I'm saying? And we always showed up a few minutes early. Um, Dependability. I remember some years ago when we were working in a church, my wife and I were, and we didn't live but about 2 or 3 blocks away from the church, but we would get up early, get our two kids ready for church, and then go and there was a bunch of kids that we would bring with us, and my wife would go and get them and bring them, and we would be still there 10 to 15 minutes ahead of time. Even though we got up early, we got dressed, got the kids dressed, got them fed, and all that. And then we'd see other people who had responsible positions that couldn't even make it on time. And they didn't have kids, and they didn't get anybody to bring with them. They just bring it themselves, and for some reason couldn't make it on time. And they're just pretty much independable. You know, when you are in a situation like that, you know, and you wonder, about that person who didn't show up or didn't do what they said that they were going to do. If they ever needed help, or if they ever had an opinion, if they ever had something that they wanted to say about something, no one would believe them because they were not dependable. It's just really surprising how deeply it runs. And the thing that kind of concerns me is when a person becomes, has got a habit of being undependable, they don't see, a lot of people don't see it. You can sit there and tell them, you can explain to them, look, you said that you would be here at such and such a time, you were late, or you didn't show up at all. That person they have their excuses and they firmly believe that they're in the right for being late, that they had a great, but they do it over and over again, and then they wonder, why doesn't anybody trust me? Why doesn't anybody listen to what I have to say? Why do they look at me as if, my opinion doesn't count, but they can't put the two and two together? Know what I'm saying? So dependability is extremely important in your business. It's extremely important in your personal life. It's extremely important in your relationships to be dependable. So if, I don't know, maybe you haven't gotten to that point yet where it's been crucial to you, but if you are one of those persons who, you make excuses for not being on time, you make excuses for not being dependable, take a moment and consider what you're doing. You're not so much hurting other people because they've already put up a barrier to you and they're not going to trust you anyway. But you should probably consider changing the way that you think. Consider changing the way you think and see if you can't turn that independability, the undependability, whatever the right negative word is, turn it around to being dependable. And see if you can't turn something around. You've got a mindset issue if you're not dependable. Perhaps you know people who are not dependable, and I would say, why don't you share this video with them, and maybe it'll wake them up. More than likely it won't, but it doesn't hurt to try. But the best thing to do, instead of sharing it with somebody who you think might be, because they're not going to pay any attention to it anyway because they're already making excuses, at least just look at yourself and see if there's some area of your life that you're not dependable in. And it will answer the question of why people don't trust you, why they don't listen to you, why they don't ask you for your opinion, and if they do, why they don't take it or accept it. Change that around. Become a dependable person. Work on it. You can't, if you're in that situation, you may not be able to do that overnight. It might take some time, but it's worth the work of changing your mindset. Become dependable. Become a person that people can trust, and you'll see a lot of changes happen in your life. Hey, this is Tim Squires, just a mindset thing on dependability. Let's just change this generation's mindset together. Lock arm with me, I ask. Connect with me. I've got some links below that show you how you can connect with me. And I'll talk to you again later. Have a great and awesome, dependable day. Thanks.